watching State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Kursma. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Every Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time, we're here live to help you understand how to maximize your real estate business, how to jumpstart, how to grow. Specifically, what we're focused on today are 5 quick and easy ways to jumpstart your real estate career. Because when you're brand new and you don't know what to do, you focus on keeping yourself busy as opposed to keeping yourself actually productive. And as you become more experienced, you start to learn through experience what actually translates to money, but a lot of people give up before they even figure that out. So if we could take time out of the equation and help you jumpstart your career right from the get-go with the essential things that you need to be able to get your business off the ground, you're far more likely to succeed. So while you can figure out a lot of this stuff on your own, just join us every Friday, 12 noon Eastern Time here on YouTube, on Facebook, or right over at tsre.us. That's also tampaschoolofrealestate.com. But we know typing that in, you could imagine when our emails, my email used to be john@tampaschoolofrealestate.com. That was the longest email ever. So we also have now that domain, tsre.us, to make it quick and easy to get to the website for emails, all that other good stuff. But anyways, what we're covering today, again, 5 quick and easy ways to jumpstart your real estate career. So we're going to be talking about a bunch of different things, but essentially these are going to be mostly geared around somebody who's brand new to real estate. Maybe you don't have your license yet, or maybe you already do have your real estate license and you're now at that point where you're like, okay, I've got the license, now how do I start making money? You take your pre-licensing course, you learn a bunch of laws and rules and information really to prep you for the exam. And yes, you are learning about the real estate industry, but a lot of surface level with, again, the detail focusing on the laws and rules. So we're going to go over to the board today. We're going to write this all on the board so you can follow along with it. I'm a visual person. Most people benefit by visuals, even if you're not necessarily a visual learner. Usually a visual is going to help. And if that's the case, you would love pretty much any of our instructor-led programs. You could do that in person, live online, or even on-demand video-based online. And those are all going to be video-based or actual live instructors that are actually guiding you through this information, and a lot of times helping you visualize this information, because that can be essential to simplifying it down. And that's our number one core value here at the Tampa School of Real Estate, to keep it simple. Because, you know, what the Florida Real Estate Commission wants you to learn and know, it's not always simple. A lot of information in here, and this is just for passing the exam, this first course that you'll take. Now, before we get into anything, I want to quickly just make a plug up here for this phone number. At any time you have any questions, call or text us 24/7. 3 a.m., we're probably not going to respond to you. But as soon as business hours kick back in, we will. So like 8 a.m. the next day. We're even here on the weekends and whatnot. We have staff here on the phones to make sure you get your questions answered, to get the help that you need. But we've got lots of staff in the office today, and we have people that have broker licenses, instructor licenses, as well as sales associate licenses that you could call into and ask whatever questions it is that you have. And, you know, if we ever don't have that final end-all be-all answer, we could usually get you pointed in the right direction. But when it comes to passing your exam, transitioning to a real estate career, getting your real estate career started, helping find the right broker for you, definitely reach out to us, 813-333-2676. Again, you could call or text us at that number. And we are the Tampa School of Real Estate. TampaSchoolOfRealestate.us. You go to that website right there, it'll take you right to TampaSchoolOfRealestate.com, where you'll see our full course catalog of in-person classes, live online, video on demand, as well as text-based courses, the best exam prep, also known as the Pass First Try exam prep tools. But today isn't about passing the exam. We've got lots of videos on passing the exam. If you want to check out our YouTube, our Facebook, the TSRE.us, you can find tons of different videos about exam prep. But what we're talking about today, again, is that you've already got a license, or you're in the process of achieving it, and you want to focus now on what you're going to do after you have your license. So the number one quick and easy thing, quick and easy ways to jumpstart your real estate career. Number one, it's going to come as no surprise, and that's post-licensing. Now, you might be saying, is this quick and easy? I thought this was supposed to be quick and easy. You're just telling me to take another class? Well, here's the thing. This is a requirement. So it's something you're going to have to do if you want to keep your license beyond 18 months, which you should. Even if you're not using it, you should keep the license, because you put a lot of work into earning it, and you never know when you might want to use it someday, even if not for practicing real estate, even just for your own benefits and purposes, whether it's you're buying a house, you're getting into real estate investing, or anything like that. So again, you want to keep your license beyond 18 months. That's the primary reason why most people think post-licensing exists, is, oh, I need this to keep my license. When I got my license, that's the way I viewed this, because just like your pre-licensing, so this course is your pre-licensing to get the license to pass your exam. But again, the focus in here is laws and rules, because that's really the only thing the Florida Real Estate Commission cares about you really knowing to be able to give you the license. But now the post-licensing course, so this comes after you have your license. You could take it from as soon as you get your license all the way up until right before your renewal deadline. And this course is completely different. So like I said, most people look at this just as a requirement as opposed to something that's going to help you, but it's going to lead me to the number two thing on here. And you're going to actually learn about this in post-licensing, is to have and work a business plan. So this is one of the most crucial, essential things to helping keep you on track when you're new to real estate, is having a business plan. Because without the business plan, you could very easily get off track. And here's why. There's telemarketers, there's different types of salespeople from different organizations that'll be reaching out to you because they found out that you're a realtor. And they have a service that could benefit realtors, and so they're now telemarketing you to sell you their leads, to sell you their website, to sell you their contact manager, to sell you advertising, to sell you just so many different things, to sell you closing gifts. And you know, it's funny, you know, if you're a new agent and you're getting calls about closing gifts, but you don't have any clients you're working with, so you're not having any closings. So what are you doing talking to this person about closing gifts? Or what are you doing designing this little cutting board when you don't even have a client that you would buy this cutting board for, or whatever it is that you're doing? So, and look, I speak from experience. If you feel like you're attacked, you're just like me when I got started in real estate, and I'm doing pretty well, but I do wish I could have achieved success faster. So you don't want to get hung up doing those things, those mistakes that I made when I got started in real estate, and that's because I did not have a business plan. I still like to subscribe to the philosophy of kind of winging it and, you know, not knowing everything before you do stuff. That 100%. I still believe in. But at the same time, I now know how essential it is to have a business plan, and also a workable business plan. Something that you could review on, if not at least weekly, ideally a daily basis. So at the very least weekly, you want to look at this business plan, but really you want to have this so simple, so basic, so easy to follow that you could look at this every single day and almost like check off the boxes of the things it is that you need to do. And we're going to talk about some other ways on here beyond just having this business plan, but the business plan is going to help keep you on track. And so all these things are designed to build into one each other. Number one, get your post-licensing done, because without post-licensing, yeah, you could probably figure out how to make some sort of business plan. Maybe you took some sort of crazy long in-depth business classes in college that really adulterated this idea of a business plan. I know because I had to write these business plans before, and I'm talking like multi-page papers, like 10, 15-page papers with references to sources and all kinds of BS like that you really don't need as a new agent. Now, you do need a tried and true set of processes, systems, ideas, tasks, priorities, and that's really what your business plan is meant to be. And in your post-licensing course, again, this is right in our instructor-led curriculum for the post-licensing. So this course, just like our pre-licensing, we have it available in 4 different formats. A text-based one if you want to do basically like an online text-based one. But honestly, it's our least popular just because it is a lot of reading. If you're a reader, you might prefer that one. But if you are more visual, if you prefer videos, you might want the video on demand version of this, or one of the live in-person or live online deliveries of this material. And again, the instructor-led is a little bit more focused on business, I would say, than our text-based program. So that's another reason why I'd recommend any one of the 3 instructor-led programs, either on demand, live online, or in person. Just because, again, when it comes to especially something like this, building out a business plan, it's good to have that kind of guidance going through this. That there's a section on business planning in that text-based course as well. It's actually broke up into 3 courses with 3 exams, and some people don't like that, so that's maybe another reason I would say to do one of the instructor-led programs, because it's just one end-of-course exam. But again, going back to the business plan, having simple guidance of what to do, because with a business plan, it's not really about learning it, it's about doing it. Yes, there's certain things that you want to look like, but I mean, there's literally a template right in this book here that I could flip through. Yeah, so a bunch of different things. Let's flip over to this camera here so you can see it maybe a little bit better. So, I mean, you can see some basic tables in there for like doing some simple math of, I want to make this much money, my average listing is this much, my expenses are this much. So little things like that just to help establish some goals. But you learn about prospecting. You learn about, like, here's another one. This Unit 3, it's on time management. That's where you're going to find a lot of this information on basically establishing the rhythm of your business. So that's something that I learned in one of my earlier jobs as like a teenager, is a business rhythm. And even when I was working in an hourly job, I needed to have a business rhythm to make sure that I was productive during that time that I was there. But anyway, so this is kind of a sheet right here, an activity log it's called in this book, where it basically breaks down different activities you could be doing a day. And this is an example, so you could really build this out to suit what it is that you want to do. It also has right here on this page next to it for an unlicensed assistant, what you could have an unlicensed assistant do. So if you've got a child that wants to earn some money, make them work for it. Make them do some work to help your real estate business. That's how I grew up, and that's part of the reason why I didn't want to get into real estate, is when my dad was getting into real estate, when he was starting, I was an unlicensed assistant for a lot of different things. But if I wanted to have some extra money and I didn't want to go mow the neighbors' lawns, which I was doing, and actually even ran a DJing business mobily, and I even had a job. So lots of things it was that I was doing because I like money. Maybe you like money as well. Money opens doors in this world. It's not the end-all be-all thing, of course not, but at the same time, you could have a much more comfortable lifestyle. You could give back to the community. You could live with less worry and less fear when you are in more control of being able to earn money. Not even just having the money, but simply being in control of it. But if you don't have a business plan, if you don't have a daily rhythm of activities to work, you're not going to feel like you're in control of money. That's where people say things like, oh, it's unpredictable. You don't know when you're going to get your next commission and blah, 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 blah. The thing is, you can't control everything. But if you focus on what you can control, if you focus on doing the daily activities, they're going to get you clients, they're going to get you contracts, then you could budget for some of those things that are going to be outside of your control. You could budget for some deals following through where you can't save the deal. That'll happen sometimes. But if you have enough business in the pipeline, you could accommodate for that. So the focus isn't on just trying to force that deal through at all costs. People aren't going to like you as the realtor if you're just simply trying to force a deal through to get your commission. That's where realtors realtors get a bad name. But if you're focused on building a business and you're focused on and establishing goodwill with your clients, that can get very contagious very quickly, where you could really build up a pipeline of business. But you have to get that initial business in the first place. So again, having the business plan, and this is a combination of things, from establishing your goals and understanding what it takes to achieve those goals, to having daily activities that you could do. And there's sections in that post-licensing course on prospecting, work with for sale by owners, expired listings, working with your sphere of influence, farming neighborhoods, or canvassing strategies. So much different stuff in there. So like I said, a lot of people just look at this as a requirement only, but that's why that's number one on the list. Is not only is it a requirement, but there's so much gold in there for things you need to know, things that you probably thought you're going to learn in your pre-licensing course until you found out that that's really about laws and rules and passing the exam, because that's all the FREC cares about at first. If you can't pass the exam, they don't care about you meeting these other requirements to show that you know what you're doing and you know how to build a long-term business. That comes secondary to them making sure you're not going to harm the public or break the law, essentially. So number one, get that post-licensing course done, because you will learn about building out a business plan and having a workable business plan. Again, that means it's something that you could look at on a daily, regular basis. Every single day, you could review this business plan, or again, at the very least weekly. And at some point, you might have to make some adjustments as you start to learn your behaviors, as you start to learn your styles, as you start to refine the processes that you use to work with clients and attract clients and close deals, and establish goodwill and follow up and getting repeat and referral business from your past clients. There's all kinds of adjustments you'll make to your workable business plan. Your daily activities will change as you start to level up your business. Because the next thing I'm going to say is one of the quick and easy ways. Number one, you want to do the post-licensing course. Number two, you want to establish your business plan. And number three is make sure you're paired with the right broker or the right brokerage. And how do you know what's the right brokerage for you? It's not the same brokerage that's right for your best friend. It's not the same brokerage necessarily that's right for the person you were studying with for your pre-licensing. It's not always the best fit or right with somebody who's referring you, who's a close friend or family member. That's how I ended up at the first brokerage that I joined, and I joined that brokerage without having done post-licensing, without having a business plan, and so I later found out that that wasn't the right brokerage for me, and I eventually switched brokerage. But had I done my post-licensing, had I established a business plan, I would have been so much more successful faster. I might have still stayed with that brokerage, because that was part of the reason why I ended up leaving that brokerage, is because I didn't have the training, and there's another brokerage that had all kinds of training and seemed like a better fit for me, so I ended up switching to that. Because even after you get the basics down, it's a lifelong learning process of leveling yourself up, of becoming better. You know, just because you've got your first contract doesn't mean you're a multi-million-dollar top producer. But if you want to get to that level, you could get there. But there's adjustments it is that you'll make to your workable business plan. Excuse me, especially as it relates to following up and referral with your past clients. So we're not going to focus on that too much today for referral and past clients, because when we're talking about jump-starting a career, you probably don't have any past clients or referrals yet. But we're going to change that. That's ultimately the goal of this here, is to change that so you do have referrals and past clients who are going to be repeat business, and where you could get referrals. That's where you get a lot of the business from, is from referrals from your past clients. Because you provide a great experience and you stay in touch with them, it's almost guaranteed that they'll recommend you. But you have to do it correctly. You have to actively solicit referrals. You know, you could open up your conversation with people. My intention is to provide you the best experience that you've ever had with a realtor, that you'll ever have, to where there's no way you would even consider using somebody else in the future. And on top of that, when anybody even thinks about real estate, you're immediately going to go, oh, John Carismo, he's your guy. He helped us out, and it'd be a mistake to use anybody else. You could tell people that right from the beginning to frame the expectations of how you plan to serve them. And that's some of the stuff it is that you'll learn about with the right brokerage. Is So building out your business plan, understanding what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, you'll be able to better determine what brokerage is going to be a good fit for you. Because if you don't have a lot of sales skills, if you've never done sales before, that's okay. Real estate is a very different type of sales compared to most. So even if you do have a sales background, you're going to probably want a brokerage with sales training, because there's a phrase that I love called training is not something you did, it's something you do. And think about like physical training, personal training, where you're going to the gym. It's not like you just go to the gym once and go max yourself out and then you're done forever. Because what happens when you stop going to the gym? You stop going to the gym, you stop exercising, you stop working out, you lose the muscle definition. The muscles get weaker. And that's the same thing with your sales skills. The moment you stop training, you start to become weaker in that category. You start to become susceptible to all these things on the planet that are there to drag you down and pull you down. Because if you're not actively countering those things, they pull you in like quicksand. And so that's why, again, having a brokerage, the number one priority I would say for anyone, even if you haven't done steps 1 and 2 in here yet, is finding a brokerage with a good training program. And specifically, if you're brand new to real estate, you want a brokerage that has a training program designed for new agent success, where they have a specific program, curriculum, guidelines for being a new agent and establishing yourself as a new agent. Because without that, there's just so many different directions you could go in. You a lot of times end up going in circles rather than moving towards your goal. And if you don't know what those goals are, if you haven't established a business plan, that's another thing that could keep you running around in circles instead of making progress towards your goals. But again, having a brokerage that has not only training, but also tools to help make this a turnkey system. So like I said, if you don't have a plan, if you don't know what you need out of your broker, and you join a broker, so what happened to me, I joined a broker that didn't provide a website, that didn't provide a contact manager, that didn't provide new agent training. There really wasn't a whole lot the brokerage provided, which in hindsight, why I chose this broker with a 30% commission cut, which isn't necessarily the highest. There's definitely brokers out there that'll take more than 30%, but I ended up leaving that 70-30 broker for a 100% commission broker, and that 100% commission broker actually even had more training opportunities and programs than that 70-30 broker. So I don't want to say that there's bad brokers out there, but there's differences. There's all kinds of different organizations with different philosophies, different programs, and one of the things that, so joining the right brokerage, again, they didn't provide a website, a contact manager, training. And so what happened when I started getting phone calls from all these telemarketers saying, oh, hey, we've got your website. Okay, here's my credit card. Okay, here, we've got your contact manager. Your broker doesn't provide that? Okay, yeah, here's my credit card. And then my credit card giving to them. To where I was like maxing out credit cards to buy all these things that, had I, known a little bit, or had I had a little bit better guidance, or had I not just chosen this broker because someone close to me recommended it to me, I probably would have searched out some other brokerages. I probably would have knew what to look for. But because I didn't have a business plan, because I didn't take post licensing, I had no idea what to even look for, what was even important. So that recommendation was basically the only thing. I remember sitting down with the broker, and he was basically like, well, you know the deal, right? And I was like, yeah, sure, the deal, absolutely. I know the deal. I mean, I haven't done post licensing. I'm brand new to real estate. I'm really, I'm familiar with kind of what you guys do here. You sell houses, but beyond that, not really. But that was basically all I know. Yeah, I've got a real estate license. I know contracts need to be in writing and signed, because that's one of the things you learn about in your pre-licensing. And I was like, yeah, I know the deal. Contracts have to be in writing and signed. You guys are a brokerage that was referred to me. That's the deal. Great. Yeah, let's sign up. Conversation went a little differently than that. But that was essentially what it was. And because I didn't know any questions to ask, I didn't know what to look for, I just took this recommendation, signed up for it, and I struggled a lot at first, because the biggest thing that I was missing was the training. Because it wasn't designed necessarily for new agent success. And I later also found out, and actually not later, this was one of the things that drove me to join this brokerage, is it had like recruiting opportunities where you could make even more than 100% commission if you just recruit other people, and now you're getting a piece of their commission on top of your commissions. And so that also kind of justified the 70-30. It's like, well, what does it matter if you're getting 30% if I can now get more than 100% if I get all this money from other people? And turns out it wasn't that easy to either A, sell real estate, or B, recruit people, especially without a training program teaching me how to do that. And also the other thing, as a new agent, don't even worry about recruiting. Because until you become a success story that's worth sharing, people really don't care. It doesn't really move them. But once you start to achieve some level of success, then yeah, those little recruiting incentives can be great, but they're not going to really be the lion's share of the money it is that you make. Because that little piece that you're getting of someone else's commission is just that little tiny piece, instead of getting, tens of thousands of dollars potentially from actually doing the deal yourself. But again, there's a lot of options out there. As you build out your business plan, as you take your post-licensing, you'll get more familiar and better understand what you need from a brokerage, how you're going to operate your real estate business, who are you focusing on, how are you getting clients. And that leads me to number 4. And this is especially if you're brand new to real estate. There is one thing that should be the thing it is that you're doing on a daily basis. And that's making connections. And I like this word connections, and I don't mean like a LinkedIn connection where you click a button and they hit accept and, oh, you're connected now. No, that's not getting you any business. Maybe these people know who you are for 5 minutes until they forget about you, especially if they've never met you before. So how do you make a lasting connection? How do you make a real impression on somebody? Well, that's going to be when you're talking to somebody face to face or over the phone. Because if you're actually having a conversation with them and communicating back and forth, you could exchange a lot of information of who they are, what they might need, and not even just really focusing first and foremost on just making the connection. Too many people, when they're new, they focus on making commissions instead of making connections. You're not here to make commissions. I mean, yes, ultimately you are, because that's how you get paid. You might be saying, well, John, of course, that's why I got my real estate license, is for commissions. I get it. That's how we pay the bills. That's how we stay in business. That's how we keep score. I like money. I'm sure you do as well. So commissions yes, commissions are great. But commissions don't come without connections. So that needs to be your number one priority when you're getting started, when you're actively, what you're doing on your daily task in your workable business plan. That's actually something that you'll establish in your post-licensing course based on the money that you want to make, based on the average price point in the areas it is that you're working, based on the average commission. You do these little simple calculations, and we even have an online calculator to make this easy for you. But we really teach you how to put this together so that way, you have a basically fill-in-the-blank template that you could use to keep it nice and simple, but B, you understand how this business plan is put together so you can modify it and adapt it to your needs and your business, to your style, etc. But regardless of what you're doing or how, you need to focus on connections over commissions. Because you establish more connections. And don't just, drop the call when you find out that they don't have a good credit score and you're like, oh, I can't help you buy. Because, you'll talk to some realtors to where if they find out that you're not in a capacity to buy or sell, or you're readily interested, they just all of a sudden become disinterested in you. And you don't want to be that agent, because those are the agents who struggle for long-term success. There's a certain degree of, yes, you do need to stay focused on the money it is that you're making and generating more money and being able to earn those commissions. But that comes secondary to the connections that you're making with people. And again, getting to know them, getting in contact with them, and focusing on who they are, what is their lifestyle, where do they want to live, what do they like about where they live now, what do they don't like, what do they do for work, how close do they want to be for work, what do they like to do for leisure activities. How do you connect with them to understand them as a person? Because when you start to understand them as a person, and they understand that you're truly there to care for them and help them and guide them through this process. And again, you frame it around that whole concept that you're ultimately trying to, give them such a stellar experience that they just are so thrilled with what you've done for them that they absolutely want to refer you out to other potential buyers and sellers. And that's how you really, build a business where you're going to have a continuous flow of business without even having to spend a penny on advertising. Now, look, I'm a big proponent of advertising and marketing, absolutely. But that advertising and marketing does almost nothing compared to the power of your connections and the referral and repeat business opportunities you have from your connections. Because even if you haven't sold a house to somebody yet, one of the things you could do to help build connections, this is one of the things that's actually even taught in this post-licensing course, is reintroducing yourself. And there's a few different ways you could do this. I would say face-to-face or phone calls would be the best way. Calling up your friends, your past coworkers, anybody it is that you have in your phone, every single contact that you have, and just saying, hey, do you want to meet for coffee? I know it's been a while. I'd love to catch up with you. Do you want to meet for coffee? Do you want to go out for lunch? Do you want to go have dinner somewhere? I just want to, catch up with you. See how you've been. It's been a while since we've talked. And, maybe this is somebody maybe it's somebody where you just have an email for. You got a bunch of emails of people that maybe you don't even have a phone number. You could draft an email that speaks to, hey, it's John, and I know we haven't talked in a while. You know me from blah, 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 blah. How have you been? Just to share with you a little about myself, I'm now in real estate, and I absolutely love it. It's fantastic, and I'd love the opportunity to catch up sometime whenever you're available. And maybe you don't even get into that line. Maybe you just put it in your email signature that you're in real estate. There's so many different ways you go about this. It's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all of you have to do this exact way. That's what's fun about real estate, is there's so many different ways that you could make a dollar. There's so many different activities and that you could do. But if you don't have a specific plan of what to do, like I said, you could go in circles just because you get pulled in so many different directions. But regardless of how you're going about it, this is going to be universal, that you need to focus around connections, because you build more connections with more people, deeper connections with more people, those commissions will come. I promise you. And number 5 is going to be ask for referrals. Because that's the way you could really kind of take the pressure off of somebody as you're introducing yourself in real estate. You could say, hey, look, I'm in real estate now, and I'm sure you guys probably aren't in the market right now. I'd love to help you if you are, but more importantly, I'd love the opportunity to be introduced to anybody that you know that does need a knowledgeable and qualified real estate professional that's backed by a great brokerage. Because when you're brand new, that's one of the number one questions we have of, okay, how do I overcome when I'm a new agent? How do I overcome people not wanting to work with a new agent? And the best way you can is by the brokerage you associate yourself with. Because if you have a brokerage that has a strong reputation, that has and it's not even necessarily like a well-known brand. That's not what I mean when I say a strong brand. It doesn't necessarily need to be well-known, but it needs to look professional, and it needs to offer you professional tools, services, guidance that gets you to be confident, even as a new agent that hasn't sold anything yet. So, and like I said, when you're brand new, your ultimate goal is to get past clients so you can get repeat business as well as referrals from those past clients. But so many people make the mistake of thinking you have to have done business with somebody in order to get a referral from them. If this is somebody that knows you, that trusts you, to any degree, if they know you and trust you to any degree, you're already ahead of a stranger. You're already ahead of everybody else that has a real estate license that doesn't personally know this person that you're talking about. So you have an initial edge right then and there. And that's one of the top things that people are looking for in a real estate professional, is someone they can trust. And that's why so often you'll see people make the mistake of hiring their cousin or their uncle or their brother, sister's mother to do real estate, just because they don't know, just like you don't know what to do as somebody that's brand new in real estate. They don't know what to look for in hiring a real estate agent, but the one thing they do know that they want is somebody they could trust. So yeah, if you've already got some established level of trust, that's going to, again, give you a leg up over everyone else that you know. And again, they might not need your services right now. And that's why you want to ask for referrals, even if you haven't done business with them yet. Well, hey, look, I know you guys aren't in the market right now, but I would love the opportunity to help out any of your friends or family members, co-workers, anybody that you could think of that is in the market to either sell or buy. I mean, now that I mentioned that, is there anybody that you could think of at the moment right now that is looking to sell? Or how about buying? Anybody you know of right now that's actively looking to buy? You know, I'd love the opportunity just to, reach out to them and introduce myself and, have the opportunity to win their business. I love that line, the opportunity to win business, whether it's win your business, win their business, because that shows that you're not expecting a handout. You're not expecting them to say, oh, you have to use John. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for you to guilt trip them. I'm just asking for, a recommendation saying, hey, this is somebody I know, they're in real estate right now. I know you said you're looking for someone in real estate, and they told me they would love the opportunity to win your business. So, no hard feelings if you don't use them, but I'd love to give the introduction. That's all you're asking them to do. Or even just exchange the numbers. Again, we talk about this so much in the post licensing because referrals and also repeat business, but specifically referrals are the way that you last in this business. Because if you're constantly relying on having to pay for advertising and marketing to generate leads, you're constantly fighting an uphill battle. Whereas the more connections you make with more people, the more opportunities you have for referrals. Because let's say here's one person. That one person, on average, is worth 5.7 deals. So we'll leave 5 little arrows up there. But that's just one person. And now that other person that they refer you to, they're also worth 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.7 deals. And so this is where this could really get crazy here, because again, each of these people, if they're followed up with effectively here, and advertising, advertising doesn't ramp up like that. Advertising, usually what happens with advertising is the more money you spend, the less effective it actually becomes, because you start to saturate your market. So again, I'm a proponent for advertising, but not as a new agent. And really, over the life of your career, this is what you want to focus on, establishing this viral network, because there's so many agents I know that don't spend a penny on advertising, and they just rely on providing a great experience and then getting referrals and repeat business from those, and not just people that they've worked with, but any connections it is that they've established. So recapping those 5 quick and easy ways to jumpstart your business. Number 1, get your post-licensing done if you haven't done it already. If you already took post-licensing and you felt like it was a waste of time, then maybe come check out our instructor-led program. I know you already have the hours, but then just use it for the knowledge, for the information that you could use to grow your real estate business. We've had a lot of people that have done that have already done some form of post-licensing, and they didn't really feel like they learned much, and so they want to take our post-licensing course, again, especially our instructor-led program, because that would be my best recommendation for any sort of post-licensing. Even over our own text-based program, I would recommend either the video on demand, the live instructor online, or the live in-person post-licensing class. And it's a 45-hour course, but there's no state exam. It's just an end-of-course exam. And if you've already passed your state exam, you should have no problem passing your end-of-course exam for post-licensing. And in that post-licensing course, you'll establish your business plan, so that way you could work that business plan daily. You could use that business plan to help make sure you join the right broker that has a training program designed for new agent success, and also gives you the tools to maybe stand out from your competition, to help you market yourself. A lot of times they'll have little templates and graphics, or you just drag and drop to add your picture and replace your name in it, stuff like that. So that's all little things that help make it where you have less to do, less to think about, and less to do. Because when I started, I was having to get my own website, my own contact manager, my own marketing. I was over there trying to learn Photoshop because I didn't want to pay somebody to design graphics for me, and I didn't really have a whole set of templates that were easy to use from the brokerage. And so I was left to wasting my time with a lot of things that I wasn't doing, instead of this, making connections. Because without connections, there is no commissions. You have to establish connections to get commissions. And while at the end of the day, you can't control every aspect that relates to you getting a commission, you could 100% control what you're doing to build connections and strengthen those connections you have with people. And then number 5, even if you're not getting business, so when you're going through and reintroducing yourself to your existing sphere of influence, your existing database of contacts, your existing network of people, you're introducing yourself, but you're also taking the pressure off of them, saying, hey, look, I know you might not be in the market right now, but I'd love the opportunity to win the business of your friends and family. Is there anybody you could think of at the moment? It's a friend, a family member, a coworker, anybody at all that you could think of that needs to sell right now or potentially buy? And so you want to get good at asking for referrals, because every connection, you want to find that opportune moment whenever you can to say, hey, by the way, I know we already talked about this before. We talked last week. And look, I know you guys still aren't looking to buy or sell right now, but I appreciate the questions you bring to me. I love answering questions, love talking to you guys. But, before I let you go today, I know I asked you last week if you could think of anybody that would need a good realtor that'll guide them through this process like I'm guiding you and getting you ready for when you're ready in 6 months. But is there anybody, since we've talked that came to mind that you've thought of, like, oh, you know what, Sue from the office, I need to give her one of John's cards. Anybody like that you could think of? And you just keep doing that again and again and again, because once you start to get good at this, once you build the frequency of asking for referrals, that's how you tap into the amount of deals that are truly possible from that one person, that one couple, that one family. So there's your 5 quick and easy ways there. Get your post licensing done, have a business plan, get joined to the right brokerage, focus on making connections daily, and ask for referrals at every opportunity that you can. You do those 5 things, I promise you it's not a question of if, it's a question of when you achieve the success it is that you're ultimately after. You don't do your post licensing like me when I got started. I waited to the last minute, and I struggled a lot just because I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a business plan, and because I didn't know what to do, I didn't know what to look for, didn't have a business plan, I didn't choose the right broker. And because I didn't know what to do, I didn't know how important it was. I mean, obviously, in hindsight, it makes sense. I mean, you don't have any clients, you're not going to get any commissions. But in my mind, I thought I just needed, I needed to find that one client, to the point where I was even, I didn't even want to give out business cards to everybody I met, just because I went super crazy designing the business cards and spent way more money than I wanted to on the business cards. But that's also because I didn't know what else to do. So I spent the first 2 weeks of me in real estate playing with Photoshop, trying to figure out how to design the perfect business card. Ooh, let me move this over here. Let me do this. You know what? This little headshot I got here from, I think it was the broker's daughter that did the headshot, which, I mean, it was decent enough, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't a professional, glamour shot, headshot type of thing that you're doing in some sort of studio. So then I'm over there in Photoshop, and remember, business cards are this big, but I'm over there super zoomed in, adjusting wrinkles on my face, watching early YouTube videos on how to do this type of stuff, or Google or whatever it was that I was doing back then, to be able to figure out how to use Photoshop, because I thought I was a graphic designer rather than a realtor, or that's what you would think, judging by what I was doing on a daily basis. I'd also waste a lot of time just flipping through the MLS, looking at nice houses, instead of making connections. And one bonus tip I've got for you as well is to know the FAR bar as is contract, because that's another thing specifically for me that when I did eventually, I actually found some training. There was a broker that, not a broker, a trainer that our broker brought in, a national sales trainer the broker brought in, gave us a little presentation and said, oh, you want to sign up for my 90-day boot camp? It's $1,200, but we could do a payment plan. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'd like to sign up for that with a payment plan, but I have a question. Can I use multiple credit cards because I'm running out of money and I really need to get this figured out? And so that's the point I was at when I finally started doing training. And so training is one of the most essential things that you need to do to be able to get yourself successful faster. The time that you invest in the training is going to multiply your ability to be successful. because you'll actually know what to do. You'll know what to look for. You'll know what to not waste your time on. And that was the biggest thing for me, is like, oh, I need to get out there meeting people. And this training, it specifically taught like door knocking. And that wasn't the most comfortable thing. I mean, but it's something that I did, that I went out there and I did it, and I realized it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But that's not the only way it is that you can make connections. But prioritizing the connections, I learned that, but since this was a national sales trainer, it didn't really teach me about the contracts. It really just taught me sales stuff and prospecting strategies and things like that I could do to generate business. So then when I actually had clients, I was out there showing properties, I was almost, looking back on it, I could assure you I was talking people out of properties, and not because I felt like it wasn't a right fit for them, but because I was just afraid they're going to want to make an offer. And I'm literally afraid of the thing that's going to generate commission because I didn't know the contract. So if you want to overcome that, the post licensing, it does touch on like presenting offers and whatnot, but there's also a course that we're running a promo on right now, 50% off this course. It's how to submit offers on the FAR Bar as is contract. So the FAR Bar as is contract is your standardized contract from the Florida Association of Realtors and Florida Bar, and this standardized document is fill in the blank. It's fill in the blank, and this is what's used for probably 95%, if not more than that, of real estate transactions. Probably like 99% of residential transactions are using this FAR Bar as is contract. So it's going to be the most common contract that you use, because this is the standardized contract for any time you're working with other realtors who are probably at a different brokerage. So that way you guys don't all have different contracts and forms. You're using the same standardized forms because you're working together. They're representing the buyer, you're representing the seller, or vice versa. We need to have an easy to use document, and that's what the Florida Realtors provide. And they do have some trainings and things like that available through your associations and whatnot. I've done plenty of those trainings. I regularly do them just because I want to keep up to date on any changes and whatnot. But I've taken that knowledge that I've gained going through these trainings, and we've packaged that together into an easy to follow on-demand course. So we're offering 50% off on that one right now. It doesn't give you any sort of credits or anything like that. It's merely meant to be informational, but this is one of the most essential things that you need as a new agent, beyond just making connections, because honestly you really don't even need training to go out there and make connections. Now, to do it well, that's where the training's going to help you. To really be good at monetizing these connections, that's where the training is going to help you. But if you don't know that contract, which that's going to be your ticket to the commissions, that's literally the document that you need to be able to get a closing set up, to be able to get to a closing, because without that sale contract, there's going to be no closing. And no closing means no commission. So the bonus tip is take that FAR Bar as is contract, or really any sort of contract training. Maybe your broker provides one, but that's one of the reasons why we created this, is most brokerages don't. Or maybe they cover certain things, but they don't have a comprehensive end-to-end, start-to-finish, every single paragraph in that contract being covered, because that's what's in that FAR Bar as is how to submit offers course that we have available, again, for 50% off right now. So you can find that all at tsre.us. And if you have any questions about any of the specifics, about getting started, about what you need for licensing, again, reach out to us, 813-333-2676. You can call or text us at that same number. I greatly appreciate you tuning in with us today to learn about maximizing your real estate career, jumpstarting your real estate career. We're ultimately here to help build success stories, because that's how we become a success story. We're only as strong as our students, because if everyone comes through classes with us and no one's successful, I mean, that doesn't make us look good. I mean, yeah, we could sit here and blame it on all kinds of different things, but at the end of the day, we want to give you as many resources. We want to control what we can. So at the end of the day, we can't control whether or not you do the things that we teach, but we can make it more accessible. We can make it easier. We can make it more comprehensive. We can make it more relatable to what you're doing. We could simplify it. There's so much that we actively go out of our way to do to help build you a runway to jumpstart your business. And so take advantage of the resources that we've put together. There's a reason why we're the largest independent real estate school here in Florida. Anywhere in Florida that you want a real estate license for, even though we're the Tampa School of Real Estate, we're a Florida real estate school for anywhere in Florida. And we've had students from over 40 countries worldwide take our programs. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. If you're wanting to get into Florida real estate, reach out to us again, 813-333-2676, or check us out online at at tsre.us. That's about all the time we have for today. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll be back next Friday. Make sure you're subscribed, but until then, have a fantastic weekend. Take advantage of the last day of the back-to-school sale that we've got going on right now at tsre.us. So if you need pre-licensing, post-licensing, anything, today is the last day for that. Get signed up before midnight. But other than that, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.
The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida real estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the Question Simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam.
Are you studying for your Florida real estate exam? If you are, you need to check out our Pass First Try strategy. You're going to love this. It's 4 steps that we break down the process to study for your Florida real estate exam. So you're set up to pass your Florida real estate exam because that's what you're studying for, right? To pass your exam. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you learn the information. You've got to learn this to be able to pass the exam, but it doesn't stop at learning. Step 2, you've got to reinforce the basic, simple, key concepts. As you learn this information, keep reviewing the simple things. You don't need to know everything, but you got to review these basic key concepts. Step 3, you've got to test your knowledge. The exam's going to test your knowledge, so if you don't test your knowledge in advance, you won't find out if you know what you think you know until you take the exam. And then step 4 is be confident and prepared, because even if you know this material, you need to be confident that you know the material. Check out the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com. So you just got your real estate license. How can you jumpstart your real estate business? The number one thing you should do before you do anything else is post-licensing. Now look, this is already a requirement, so you're gonna have to do it anyways, but here's why you wanna do it early. The sooner you do post-licensing, the sooner you're gonna learn the real-world concepts in post-licensing that will help you create a business plan, that'll help you plan for your success in real estate. Post-licensing is all about real-world topics that are usable, that'll help you grow your real estate business. And at Tampa School of Real Estate, we have the best post-licensing courses around. Find out more about how post-licensing can help you jumpstart your real estate career. Go to postflorida.com.
Have you seen what's going on in Tampa?
If you're looking to get in on the real estate action that's going on in Tampa right now, we're who you need to talk to. We can help you get your real estate license, start your real estate career. We're here to assist you for the life of your real estate career. Give us a call. Phone number is 813-928-0106, or check us out online at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Have
you been thinking about getting your Florida real estate license? Look, the process is probably easier than you think. We break it down step by step, how much it's going to cost, what it is that you need to do to get your Florida real estate license. Find out all of that and more at licensefl.com. Again, that's licensefl.com.